वेलकम वेलकम वेलकम। तो बहुत लंबे समय बाद ऑलमोस्ट 1 महीना हो गया है, हम लोग एलएलए का वेबिनार नहीं कर पाए थे, बट अब वेबिनार शुरू हुए हैं। तो सीरीज में 3-4 वेबिनार होने वाले हैं और उसमें आज बहुत बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट वेबिनार होने वाला है। तो रिक्वेस्टिंग एवरी एक्सक्लूसिव मेंबर के जुड़ जाइए। आई नो कि आप में से ज्यादातर लोग एचआर फ्रेटर्निटी से हैं, लेबर लॉ कंप्लायंस फ्रेटर्निटी से। तो दिस वेबिनार इज गोइंग टू बी रियली रियली इंपॉर्टेंट, बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण वेबिनार होने वाला है, क्योंकि आज हम बात करने वाले हैं कोड ऑन वेजेस की। तो अगर आप मेरी आवाज सुन पा रहे हैं, ये वीडियो देख पा रहे हैं, तो एक बार कमेंट करके बता दीजिए। अनिरुद्ध भी चेक कर सकता है, मैं भी एक बार यूट्यूब पर ये चेक कर लेता हूं। तो आज हम लोग जो बात करने वाले हैं वो बात करने वाले हैं कोड ऑन वेजेस के बारे में। और ये समझिए, आज आपकी एक मास्टर क्लास होने वाली है जिसमें हम लोग समझेंगे कंप्लीट कोड ऑन वेजेस के बारे में, इसके रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन के बारे में। बहुत सारी चीजें हम लोग आज इस वेबिनार में सीखने वाले हैं। तो आप फटाफट से जुड़ जाइए। अगर आपको आवाज प्रॉपर आ रही है तो एक बार मुझे बता दीजिए, कंफर्म कर दीजिए। अगर आप वीडियो आराम से देख पा रहे हैं तो एक बार कंफर्म कर दीजिए। एंडी ऑल सेट है? अनिरुद्ध आजा एक बार स्क्रीन पे, अगर सेट है तो बता दे। इफ
Yes, sir, all set, we can move on.
परफेक्ट परफेक्ट। चलिए तो सबसे पहले मैं हमारे आज के 2 स्पीकर्स हैं आज हमारे साथ, दोनों का इंट्रोडक्शन कर देता हूं। एक को आपको इंट्रोडक्शन की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, हमने एक वेबिनार किया था शायद 3 या 4 वेबिनार पहले, पीएफ इंटरनेशनल वर्कर के ऊपर। बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स टॉपिक है क्योंकि उस पर रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन क्लियर नहीं थे, लेकिन वन ऑफ द अथॉरिटी ऑन सब्जेक्ट मिस्टर आनंदन सुब्रमण्यम, जिन्होंने हमारे लिए वेबिनार किया और बहुत डिटेल में, बहुत तफ्तीश में हमने इसके बारे में बातें करी और समझा कि पीएफ इंटरनेशनल वर्कर की कंप्लायंसेस कैसे करनी है, किस तरीके से आप उसकी रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन को इंटरप्रेट कर सकते हैं, और ये सारी चीजें हमने कवर करी उस वेबिनार में। तो आनंदन सर एचआर फील्ड के, कंप्लायंसेस फील्ड के वेटरन हैं, बहुत सालों से बहुत सारी इंडियन और एमएनसी कंपनीज के साथ आपने काम किया है। अभी भी बहुत सारी कंपनीज को आप कंसल्ट करते हैं, और उनका न्यू इनिशिएटिव है एचआर विद्यालय, जिसके थ्रू वो कंप्लायंसेस और ट्रेनिंग, बहुत सारी चीजें उसके अंदर कर रहे हैं, जिसके बारे में हम लोग अभी आनंदन सर से ही समझेंगे। उन्हीं के साथ आज हमारे एक और स्पीकर जुड़ रहे हैं, वो है मिस्टर चलामनी। वो पिछले 17 सालों से उन्होंने वोल्टास में काम किया, उसके बाद लगभग 22 सालों तक उन्होंने एक एमएनसी कंपनीज के साथ, फ्रेंच एमएनसी कंपनी के साथ काम किया। उन्होंने कंपनसेशन, लेबर इश्यूज, बहुत सारी चीजों के ऊपर बात करी। तो ये दोनों आज हमारे साथ एज ए एक्सपर्ट इस पैनल में जुड़ रहे हैं, और आज हम लोग बात करने वाले हैं मास्टर क्लास कोड ऑन वेजेस की। तो अनिरुद्ध, आई रिक्वेस्ट कि आप प्लीज ऐड करिए आनंदन सर को और चलामनी सर को। Welcome, sir. Welcome to LLA webinar.
Welcome.
Welcome, sir. Anandan sir, Chalamani sir, how are you?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. So, sir, I would request कि if you can give a brief introduction. Already हम लोग एक webinar कर चुके हैं, but it would be great if you can give a brief introduction about yourself and your colleague. Anandan sir.
Anandan, sir, your mic is mute. Please unmute yourself.
Is it okay now?
Oh. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
perfect.
Okay. So I had already done a webinar on international worker, and basically I have some 23 years of HR compliance, IR related experience in various MNCs. You can say Japanese, Indian, American, European. Okay, so I have a passion towards HR compliance, and very recently floated a small company, HR Vidyalaya Corporate Services, and I am very thankful to Mr. Rishabh Jain for giving me the opportunity to conduct this very sensitive subject. So now wherever you go on the social media or online website, you can see what is the impact. People are regularly worried about whether the take-home salary will be go down, or the employer will be having a major impact because of one single definition which has been included in the 4 labor codes.
Right, sir.
It started with code on wages. Among the 4 labor codes, code on wages is very, very sensitive, which is going to impact the employer to an extent. So this session is going to be a preparatory session for both employee, HR, finance, corporate legal, as well as the employer also. So I think this is my 4th session on code on wages, but this is going to be a master class in the sense, this is going to be talking about the impact on the employer. So that's how. So I am basically from South India, so I really do not know Hindi. So I borrowed support Mr. Chala. So he'll be not literally translate, but he will support each and everyone if you have any clarification or doubts in the slides, whatever we are going to.
Perfect.
Okay. So I again take this opportunity to thank LLA, Labor Law Advisor, and Mr. Rishabh Jain and his team. Definitely, I should thank him. So he'll be okay.
Sir.
Then, if it is okay, then I'll start present.
Yeah.
Perfect, sir. You can start.
Perfect.
And LLA members, सबसे पहले we would like to thank you, Anandan sir, for being very very considerate. क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम काफी कुछ मेंबर्स ने इश्यू करा था कि सर थोड़ा इंग्लिश नहीं समझ आ रहा है, तो सर ने खुद से ही सजेस्ट किया कि हम लोग ये सेशन हिंदी और इंग्लिश में थोड़ा सा मिक्स करके करेंगे. सो इसके लिए हमारी पूरी कम्युनिटी की तरफ से थैंक यू सो मच सर. वी कैन स्टार्ट.
ओके, थैंक यू. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to have a big session. Definitely, it is going to be an interesting session. What I request you, whenever I am going to do the session, you may have some doubts. We will clarify all your doubts, and we will be taking up all your queries in the end of the session. We will definitely address it to you, or even if time is not going to permit us, we will definitely address those queries through LLA. Okay. So wherever required, then Mr. Chalamani will support in Hindi. Okay. So today's learning objective is cognizance of the updates. Every time new things are coming up, this was notified in 2019, and the rules also was notified over a long time, but it was still not implemented because the government wants to implement all 4 codes together. Tentatively, it is going to be implemented in April, but very recently, day before yesterday also, there is one more notification. So maybe it can come in February also. We have no clue, but this session should be a preparatory session for every establishment. Okay, and we need to see the impact of many insertion, amendment to the previous Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, Bonus Act, Equal Remuneration Act. These 4 acts were subsumed under this code. So we will be seeing how it is impacting. Okay, and take away for everyone. So you are going to update your expertise, your knowledge, your competency, because this is going to impact each and every employee. It is not a HR subject. It is going to impact employer and employee, their compensation. And we'll be seeing what is new definition of wages, very sensitive, impact on the establishment, and what is the duties of the employer. Okay, so I request if someone wants to listen to Hindi version of the, you can raise hands so that Mr. Chalamani will involve himself.
Sure, sir. I'm reading the comments. If there is any issue, I'll update here.
Okay,
Very good.
then
Very good,
Chalamani
Rishabh.
will involve.
Excellent.
So as discussed, this code has repealed 4 different legislation: Payment of Wages Act, Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Bonus Act, Equal Remuneration Act. As the rules were not notified, the all 4 acts are still valid. But once the rules are notified, all 4 acts will be repealed. But when the act is repealed, whatever has been obtained in the sense, any nomination or any registers you have maintained previously, that will be valid even after the code is notified. Okay, what is the major purpose, objective of this code is multiple definition across the legislation has been simplified, and there is no compromise on the wage, employment condition, service condition of the individual employee. That is also there, and this is going to ensure minimum wages of all employees. Here, that is what the definition, and it is going to ensure the right wages at the right time, including contract length. That is what is more important. So this code is very sensitive code among the 4 code. Okay. So first one is minimum wages. So far, as per the minimum wages is fixed according to the scheduled employer. So for example, we can say chemical industry, cement industry, security industry, housekeeping, leather. So many scheduled employments are there. That is going to be not going to be there. So hereafter it is going to be one floor wages based on unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled, and the new one is highly skilled. And also is zone wise. Here zone is going to be municipal, metro, non-metro. That's all. So and wages will be paid by hour, day, month. That is there already there. So this is what the highly skilled is introduced here, and the central government will notify a floor minimum wages for each skill type. So that is going to be the minimum wages to be paid. So if any state government is going to declare minimum wages for their employees in the industry in their state, it should not be less than the floor minimum wage. So that is what is required. And the next one, this is very important, employee definition. So far, employee definition was not there. There is only worker definition was there. Now employee definition was introduced. So overall employee, so whoever is there in an industry or a company, whether unskilled, skilled, semi-skilled, manual worker, operational, supervisory, clerical, or technical. So these were earlier being determined as worker, now administrative and managerial. These 2 type of employment was also included, and the employee definition was published. So this is what is employee. I'll tell you administrative and managerial, which includes supervisory also. Managerial means any manager. So in every company, like nowadays we have deputy manager, senior manager, and regional manager, general manager, assistant general manager. So many managerial type of employment is there. So everybody will be considered as employee. So far they were excluded. They were excluded as a worker definition. Now everybody will be covered under this code. So earlier, we'll be seeing in the next slide, only those workers who are getting a gross wages of 24,000 are covered under Payment of Wages Act for various challenges, or they can go to many labor court, things like that. Now it is going to be every person is employee and everybody can go to any court because everyone is covered. The only one person who is not covered is in factories, manufacturing facility. It is factory manager and the occupier, because they have the ultimate control of affairs of the organization. So they are not employed. But in shop and commercial establishment, only the person, he may be a director or a partner or a proprietor, sometimes it a managing director, CEO of a company, who is having the ultimate control of the organization. He is only excluded, but everyone else is considered as an employee. So this code is going to be applicable to all these type of employees. Okay, that is the main definition. This is going to impact the employer to the maximum. Why? We will discuss a little later. That's what I had mentioned. Any person, irrespective of his status, role, salary, duties, or level, let him be the vice president of the company. He will also be considered if he is not a manager who is having control of affairs of the organization. Okay.
Thank you, sir. I request Chalamani sir to just summarize this slide, because this is very very important. That definition of worker is like being replaced by employee. आप इसको एक बार हिंदी में थोड़ा सा summarize कर दीजिए.
मैं ये कहना चाहता था, अभी तक जो एम्बिग्विटी थी कि वर्कर कौन है, एम्प्लॉय कौन है, अब ये कोड ऑन वेजेस आने के बाद ये जो चीज को उन्होंने कंप्लीटली क्लियर कर दिया है. और मिनिमम वेजेस का भी पहले हर एक्ट में अपना अपना वो डेफिनेशन था, वो चारों एक्ट में जो कि अभी रिपेल होने वाले हैं. एंड व्हेन मिनिमम वेजेस जब ये आ जाएगा कोड ऑन वेजेस, तो उसका भी उन्होंने खत्म करके उन्होंने अभी सिंपलीफाई कर दिया है कि व्हाट इज मिनिमम वेजेस, हु इज वर्कर कौन है और एम्प्लॉय कौन है. एम्प्लॉय ऑल, चाहे आप ऑफिस में जीएम हो या वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हो, कोई भी हो, जिसका कंट्रोलिंग अथॉरिटी नहीं है, वो एम्प्लॉय कहला जाएगा.
Okay.
सिमिलरली वर्कर का उसने जहां पे भी, जिस इंडस्ट्री में भी किसी एक टाइप का काम करने का, स्किल्ड, सेमी स्किल्ड, ऑपरेशनल, जो भी है, वो जो वर्कर है वो उसकी डेफिनेशन में आएंगे और उनकी वेजेस वगैरह स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में उनको बनाया जाएगा, जो कि हमें एज एन एम्प्लॉयर हमें पे करना पड़ेगा. तो इस एक्ट आने के बाद काफी जो पहले झगड़ा चलता था, कोर्ट केसेस चलते थे, मिनिमम वेजेस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर में एक था, मिनिमम वेजेस में एक था, वो सब अभी खत्म हो गए.
ओके, जस्ट एक
एम्प्लॉय का भी
एडवांस क्वेश्चन आई एम आस्किंग कि जो अभी आगे वेज की डेफिनेशन पर हम बात करेंगे, वो वेज की डेफिनेशन अब एम्प्लॉय पे लागू होएगी या वर्कर्स पे लागू रहेगी?
Okay. I have still not defined worker. Maybe after this you can take the question.
Sure, sir. No problem, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I had explained about employee. Now I will explain about worker. So in one single legislation, why there is two definitions, where the skilled worker is determined as an employee, and here also the skilled worker is defined as a worker. Okay. So worker is a subset of employee. It is kind of inside the employee. Worker is a inside definition of employee. Why have they have given worker separately and employee separately? There is one single reason. I'll tell you, worker. There are so many persons except apprentice, skilled, unskilled, technical. For
Operational.
what? Yeah. Here, I don't know for what reason. Semi-skilled was excluded in the code. Everybody is asking this question, but this does not include managerial, administrative, or a supervisory capacity who is earning more than 15,000. So these people are not covered. So why this is a subset of employee definition, meaning these particular workers are covered under provisions of Industrial Dispute Act and a few other acts, maybe in Factories Act. Those things are all parts of labor codes under occupational safety.
Indian Trade Union.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
So it is part of IR code.
Bargaining.
Yeah. So only these people are covered under few provisions under the occupational code. So that's why they have segregated few employment type from the employee definition and defined as a worker. So this is the major definition. And as Rishabh was asking, wages definition is applicable across all, whether employee or worker or whoever. It is applicable to all. Maybe sir, you can explain.
Thank you. I just want to clarify this point. तो समझिए दोस्तों, सारे एम्प्लॉय, अब सर ने बोला सबसेट, तो इसका मतलब जितने भी वर्कर्स हैं वो एम्प्लॉइज तो हैं, बट सारे एम्प्लॉइज वर्कर नहीं है. तो अगर आप एम्प्लॉय को आप समझेंगे एक बड़ा सर्कल, तो उसमें से एक छोटा सर्कल है वर्कर, और वो पूरा छोटा सर्कल एम्प्लॉय के सर्कल के अंदर ही है. इसका मतलब सारे जो वर्कर्स हैं वो एम्प्लॉय की डेफिनेशन में आते हैं, लेकिन सारी जो एम्प्लॉय की डेफिनेशन है वो वर्कर्स नहीं है. आई गेस that summarizes that.
Perfect.
We can move on, sir. Yes.
So as we have discussed, payment of wages earlier covered only those who draw up to 24,000 per month, but code on wages covers all employees. And here there is one insertion of provision where if the employer is doing some deduction, they have to get a permission from the labor authority or the factory authority. Without that, they cannot do deduction. So there is a control. You cannot just like that deduct for absence or fine or penalty, things like that. So there is a specific condition. Once the rule is notified, we will be coming to. We will come to know what are all the specific condition. So this is also very sensitive in the sense, you cannot just like that go deduct from the salary of an employee or a worker. So number 4 is talking about equal remuneration, because the Equal Remuneration Act was subsumed under this code, and there is nothing new. All employees, male or female, there cannot be any discrimination because he is a male, because she's a female. You cannot discriminate working condition or salary. So they will be asked to be treated equal as per the skill, effort, experience. responsibility, everything. So that's all. This has been carried over from the Equal Remuneration Act. So it talks about equal remuneration where the women are protected. Earlier, even now, many companies, women are paid less. Women are asked to work more. Women will not be considered for promotion, transfer, overtime. So many service conditions, it is not there. It's already there, but it is not followed. Now this is going to be strictly followed. Okay. And the next one is another important definition, overtime. So overtime is already there. It is paid on double the ordinary rate of wages. It is not on basic DA. It is on gross wages, double. Now also many companies are paying one single, and some companies are not even paying. Few companies compensate with leave or permission, things like that. So why this has come here? So we have seen the employee definition. So overtime has to be paid to all employees. So all employees now, even managers, administrative employees, general manager, vice president, anyone. So there is a small ambiguity where it states that overtime is only for those who are covered under minimum wages. But here there is another definition where even those people are covered under highly skilled. So even the managers are considered as highly skilled. So as highly skilled is part of minimum wages, I think overtime is applicable to every person, every employee of the organization. So hereafter, the service condition is changing. So employer have to be very, very careful. So to determine who's the skilled worker or highly skilled worker, or they are not covered under minimum wage. So you have to first of all identify who are not coming under minimum wages. Then only he is excluded or she is excluded from the payment of overtime. So this is very, very ambiguous. But as of now, it is for everyone. Overtime is for everyone. So hereafter, you cannot ask persons to stay back, go to home and work, things like that. All employees are aware now. So paying overtime, it is very difficult. It will impact financially, and also as per the Shop and Establishment Act, you cannot ask one person to work more than an hour in a day. And in the factory, you have to get permission to ask the employee to work for overtime. So these are all very conflicting situations. So employer has to take care.
थैंक यू सर.
आनंदन साहब का कहने का ये मतलब है, ये कोड आने के बाद आप किसी को भी 8 घंटे के ऊपर काम करने के लिए बोलते हैं, यू हैव टू सी द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस, वेदर ही मे बी इवन इफ ही इज ए मैनेजर भी होंगे तो उनको ऊपर ये ओवर टाइम का पेमेंट करने का संभावना बन सकता है.
ओके क्योंकि सर पहले आईटी और काफी इंडस्ट्रीज में तो ये प्रैक्टिसेस रही है, मतलब 12-15 घंटे इज अ वेरी नॉर्मल अभी भी. तो
आईटी में भी आईटी में भी पहले लोग आते थे, बट आईटी में उन्होंने इसी प्ली लेके उनको एक्सक्लूड किया है कि दे आर ऑल डूइंग टेक्निकल वर्क एंड ऑफ सुपरवाइजरी एंड मैनेजरियल वर्क करके वो एक प्ली लेके उनको उन्होंने एक्सक्लूड करके ओवर टाइम के ऊपर, क्योंकि वो लोग तो हर आईटी कंपनी में मिनिमम लोग 10-11 घंटे काम करके जाते हैं. जो भी 8 घंटे के बाद बस पकड़ के नहीं जाता, वो उनका काम ही ऐसा होता है, क्योंकि पहले इंडिया का टाइम फिर अमेरिका को मीटिंग वो करके. अभी वो सब आप लोगों को देखना पड़ेगा ये कैसा ये मैनेज होंगे.
बट हियर द बिग because if the government is going to give some exemption, there are unions, even ITES companies, IT people, they have union. They will go and contest before the legal forum. So as per the code, we will work only 8 hours. So this is a conflicting situation. That's what be a big impact on the establishment.
ओके सर.
अभी आनंद सर ये रूल में आएगा क्या? अभी तो रूल्स पब्लिश नहीं हुए ना?
Yeah, it's already published. So there is no change from the code.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
This is
the
main.
major part, the core of all labor code, 4 labor codes. That is what the simplicity of the labor codes. This wage definition has been carried over in all 4 labor codes. So this is the only definition. So we will be spending more time on this and next slide. So what is the wage definition? This is what is the major talk by the industry. Everyone is representing to the ministry to change the definition because this is going to impact in a big way. I think many employer forum are still talking to the government to change it. I think the government is determined not to change anything. Maybe here and there they will tweak some percentage. We will see. The definition of wage. Wage means all remuneration. So that is what is the first line. All remuneration, which includes basic, DA, retaining allowance. So first of all, everyone has to see inclusion. It says that all salary, wage components expressed in terms money and includes basic, DA, retaining allowance. So wages is not basic and DA. It includes basic and DA. So that is the first definition. And basic, everybody know. DA, minimum wages, it will be there. Retaining allowance is paid only to the seasonal industry to retain that employee. So they will be paying an allowance. It is not a retention allowance. Retention allowance is paid to all employees in many MNCs and IT companies. That is not retaining allowance. That is a different one. That is paid once in a year. So basic, DA, retaining allowance. Even DA is not paid to many company. Okay. So the definition, all salary wage components. Why I repeatedly telling this? Because it includes other allowance, special allowance. So you name any allowance that is included. We will come to the exclusion part. So you see the difference between inclusion part and exclusion part. In exclusion part, they very clearly defined what 11, sorry, not 8, 11 numbers of compensation structure. That is excluded. More than this, nothing is excluded. But in inclusion, it says that all salary includes basic and DA. So that is what their government is, confusing all employees. I'll tell you, when I was in my previous companies, I have seen some clients who are having 44 allowances. They have gym allowance, this allowance, that. Even for dog maintenance, they have allowance. So those allowances will be considered as wages hereafter. So we'll see what is exclusion. It states that bonus here meaning only statutory bonus, not any other bonus. Value of house accommodation. This is different from HRA. And PF, pension contribution by employer. So PF they will be paying. Some companies they will be paying superannuation, that is called retirement pension contribution. Conveyance allowance, now this has been discontinued after the Income Tax Act has discontinued this allowance, but still few companies are paying conveyance allowance, not transport allowance. That is different. This is different. Some paid to defray special expenses. So this is nothing but if somebody is working mainly in factory, they'll be working in height, no, somewhere, not on the floor, or maybe they'll working down, working in a hot surface, something like that. So they'll be paid extra salary. That is called some paid to defray special expenses, or maybe somebody working in mines that is below the ground level. So something like that. HRA, so far it was part of wages. Now it is included in exclusion. I have mentioned something in equal remuneration. I will come a little later. And any money paid towards award and settlement, if there is any agreement between trade union and employees or workers, when some money is paid as an award, that is excluded from the wages. Overtime allowance, excluded. Commission, maybe sales commission, any other commission paid to, not incentive, only commission, is excluded. Gratuity, paid at the end of separation, and the retrenchment compensation also paid at the time of separation. So all these are excluded from the definition of wages. But there is a small a subsequent proviso which states that if payments made under exclusion exceeds one of or such other person. So here that government may consider such other person. Only there they can be very lenient as requested by the industry or employer. I think this will happen. So if payments made under exclusion exceeds one of or such other person of all remuneration calculated. So okay, this provision, I have an example in the next slide. We will understand how to define this particular provision. That we will see in the next slide. And the another one, any remuneration is payable in kind by his employer. It is nothing but earlier days, instead of wages, they'll be paying some food, something like that. So not in cash, but they'll give us a goods or services. That can be up to 15% of the total wages. That is what is defined. So, sir, will you explain this and we'll go to the slide?
Yeah, Rishabh.
यस सर, इसमें आप एक दो चीजें कवर कर लीजिए. एक तो ये वैल्यू ऑफ हाउस अकोमोडेशन क्या होता है एंड व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन कन्वेंस एंड ट्रांसपोर्टेशन अलाउंस.
ओके, वैल्यू ऑफ हाउस अकोमोडेशन मतलब कुछ लोगों को है ना, लोग.
सर, one second. Sorry, I forget to define. I had mentioned blue color D, F, G, H. These four are considered for equal remuneration. So when these are paid, there should not be any parity between male and female. These four are very clearly explained in another provision. That's why I put equal remuneration in the bracket. So you can go ahead.
Okay. अभी क्या है कि ऋषभ जी, अभी जैसा हम अभी प्रेजेंट स्ट्रक्चर में क्या है, प्रेजेंट स्ट्रक्चर में लोग कुछ भी 100 रुपये किसी को हम सैलरी बनाते हैं, सैलरी 100 रुपये किसी को हम देते हैं, हाँ, तो हम क्या करते हैं, 30 रुपये बेसिक दे दिया, 50% हम दे दिया अदर अलाउंस, 20% HRA करके दे दिया, ताकि क्या है हम लोग कोशिश करते हैं कम से कम बेसिक
PF
पे
कटे।
एम्प्लॉयर का PF कंट्रीब्यूशन जाए और बाकी स्टैट्यूटरी कंप्लेंसेस जाए,
ग्रेचुइटी कम हो जाए थोड़ी।
ग्रेचुइटी कम हो जाए, क्योंकि जितना बेसिक कम रखेंगे उतना तो उसके ऊपर लॉन्ग टर्म बेनिफिट्स कम होंगे। अभी ये कोड एंड वेजेस आने के बाद वो सब उन्होंने बंद कर दिया। अभी कोड एंड वेजेस में नॉट more than 50% of your basic you cannot pay any as wages। मतलब आप 100 रुपया रखेंगे, 100 रुपये में आपको ये 50 जो बेसिक पे आपको देना ही है, बाकी आप कैसे भी देते रहो, ये करते रहो, वो करते रहो। यदि चाहे उसमें आप एक्सीड करोगे, नीचे उन्होंने एक ऐड करके उन्होंने उस पे भी आपको वेजेस में लाने के लिए बोल दिया। तो अभी ये कोड एंड वेजेस आएगा तो काफी एम्प्लॉयर्स के लिए मुश्किल बन जाएगा, क्योंकि हर एक एम्प्लॉय का हर महीना बेसिक चेंज होने वाला है।
सबकी कंपनसेशन चेंज
हाँ,
करनी पड़ेगी।
ये इट विल बी ए बिग चैलेंज फॉर ऑल, मतलब हर एम्प्लॉयर के लिए ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज हो जाएगा। अभी आपने दो चीज पूछे हैं इसमें, आपने पूछा कि वैल्यू ऑफ हाउस अकोमोडेशन क्या है। वैल्यू ऑफ हाउस अकोमोडेशन मतलब काफी आई मीन जहां मैनेजर लेवल का लोग होते हैं, कंपनीज जो है अकोमोडेशन प्रोवाइड करती हैं।
Yes.
ठीक है, वो रेंट एम्प्लॉय नहीं पे करता, वो कंपनी उनको पे करती है, एम्प्लॉय उसका एंजॉय करता है उसका बेनिफिट।
Yes.
दैट इज उन्होंने उसको यहाँ पे एक्सक्लूड किया है।
ठीक है।
हाँ, आई मीन अंडर सेक्शन 10 जो अभी इनकम टैक्स एक्ट है उसमें पेरक्विजिट्स में वो चीज आती है।
अंडरस्टूड सर।
ओके, और कन्वेंस अलाउंस पहले उस पे वो 800 रुपए का वो हम सब एग्जम्पशन लेते थे, वो सब बंद करके अभी जैसा आनंदन सर ने बोला है कि कुछ कंपनीज अभी भी वो कंटिन्यू कर रही है, कुछ कंपनीज ने उसको निकाल दिया, मतलब उन्होंने अपना स्ट्रक्चर को चेंज कर दिया जब से एम्प्लॉय को उसका बेनिफिट मिलना बंद हो गया। तो अभी ये कोड एंड वेजेस आने के बाद अभी बहुत क्लैरिटी आ गया है कि आप अपना स्ट्रक्चर को अदर अलाउंसेस को 50% बेसिक से ऊपर नहीं दे सकते हैं। अभी लोग कुछ भी कर रहे थे, लोग
सही
ये
है सर।
प्ली लेके कर रहे थे, नहीं एज पर हम पीएफ हम 16,000 का ऊपर हम वो दे रहे हैं, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता ये वो, अब वो सब इसमें बंद हो जाएगा।
Got it, sir. Anandan sir, you said that conveyance allowance is not similar to transportation allowance. What's the difference?
Conveyance allowance is fixed one. For example, across board, it will be same. Like earlier, no companies were paying 1,800, but the transport allowance is different. In some companies, for managers they'll pay 4,000. Those who are below supervisory category, they pay 2,000, something like that. That is the transport allowance. And few companies, they pay transport reimbursement. So when they incur expense, they provide bill and get reimbursed. So that is
Got
also
it.
there. So that should
So
be.
reimbursement is excluded anyways,
बट
right?
वो तो एक्सक्लूडेड है ना, वो तो एक्सपेंस हो गया ना,
Yeah.
वो तो
Yeah.
कॉम्पनसेशन में नहीं आएगा।
Transport there are two: transport allowance and transport reimbursement. Conveyance allowance usually is fixed across the board, in the sense of 1,800 across. Earlier it was there, now it has been withdrawn after the income tax came with the standard deduction. They have taken
50,000
out
50,000 rupees.
Initially it was 40 and then we made to 50. They removed conveyance allowance and medical
reimbursement.
Yeah, that they removed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, let's
Okay.
move to
We will
example.
see this slide. This is more important. Please listen very carefully. So we are talking about exclusion exceeds 1/2. It is same like what Mr. Chalamani told, that it is you have to have basic DA, that is wages, up to minimum 50. No, safe side you go 51%. That's what. But it does not include gratuity and retrenchment. So it is up to A to I. That's why I put J and K as red. Okay, we'll see the comparative statement. Okay, so now we have divided the wages into 3 different categories. One is wages. I had very clearly included only basic and DA. If you have anything else other than A to K, anything other than any allowance, you name whatever, that will come under wages, because the definition is very clearly shows all salary wage components. Okay, I have taken only basic DA example, a comparative study. So first one is 15,000 basic, TA 6,000, just like the simple figure, nothing following with the minimum wages. Retaining allowance across I put only 0. I am not calculated anything for seasonal establishment. So subtotal for the first column wages definition is 21,000. So now the first bucket, second bucket is exclusion, HRA, 40% or a 50%. Some companies pay equal to the basic also. So whatever you here it has mentioned 6,000, conveyance 2,000. Bonus, I have mentioned here, some companies have the practice of paying 7,000 divided by 12, that is 583. That is considered as an exclusion. Some companies pay only after they close the balance sheet, and they pay only by November.
Books of accounts.
Books of
30th November. 30th November.
Many companies have practice to pay bonus every month, so that the money is paid to the employee. It can retain the employee because he has a more take home. And sometimes if the employee resigns and go, bonus has to be paid to him. To get him and pay the bonus is very challengeful. That too mean manpower staffing company is very difficult. So they pay monthly bonus. Here what I had put is 7,000 minimum bonus, that is 8.33 divided by 12. So a PF employer contribution, that is 12% on 21,000, not 13%. 11% is administrative. So 12% on 21,000. Sales commission, for the first column there is no sales commission, and there is a overtime. So that subtotal is 14,103. So grand salary, gross salary is 21,000 plus 14,000. It is 35,103. Now what we have to do? We have to divide by 2. That will be 50%. That is what is the formula provision as per the provision in the wage definition. So the 50% of the gross is 17,552. So what we have to look is whether this 50% is more than bucket number 2 or less. So if it is more, then the difference has to be included to the wages. If it is less, not necessary. So here in the first column, 50% of the total is 17,552. The bucket 2 is 14,103. 14,103 is less, so there is no need to consider anything to add back to wages. Okay, first one, second one, third one also same. So I have given different scenarios. Third one is like consolidated salary, consolidated basic is getting no DA, and BHRA is given, conveyance, everything. So no overtime. So the difference here 50% is 49,500, but bucket 2 is only 49,000. So 49,500 is more. Here also there is no problem. Fourth one, basic is 30,000. HRA, everything. The second bucket subtotal is 41,600. grand total is 7,600 divided by 2, 35,800. So here the 50% of grand total is less than this bucket 2, that is exclusion. So what is the difference? 5,800. Now this 5,800 has to be added to wages. So what is the wage for this particular person? Is not 30,000. For that particular month, it is 35,800. So this is a big challenge. You have to have a fixed salary where basic and DA is 51% of the total gross. For some reason, the employee is getting sales commission. He or she he has done overtime and he got some sales commission. So on that particular month, he has got 8,000 more, which is more than his fixed. So for this particular month, the wages for that particular employee changes. What impact this will give? So if PF is deducted on 30,000, that is 12% on PF employer contribution is employee also same, that is 600. Because we are adding this difference 5,800 to 30,000, the wages definition also changes. The PF 12% is not on 30,000. It is on 35,800. That is number one problem. Second problem, this person will be away from the bonus ceiling. If the same scenarios is for lesser salary, particular person wages also changes. So for bonus calculation also, it will have an impact. Third impact, gratuity. Gratuity is based on last drawn wages, that is basic and DA. Now here it is basic, DA and the difference. So if this person separates on this particular month, is fixed wages is 30,000, but nobody knows in particular month he has got 8,000 more and his wages is 35,800, not 30,000. So gratuity also get impacted. So
gratuity, leave encashment,
leave encashment, there is a difference. The leave encashment, there is a definition is different under SAP and Establishment Act, and in Code on Occupational Health and Working Condition it is different. Okay. So let us not discuss that.
Okay.
So these three, PF, if it is restricted to 15,000, no problem. Otherwise, you have a big impact. Number two, bonus for those who are covered under bonus. Third one, gratuity. These three will have a great impact. Every month. So for each employee, they have to check and do the payroll processing. So this is the biggest impact to the employer, and calculating gratuity and paying premium to insurance company or making a provision, that is also difficult. Suddenly, when the wages are more at that month, that employee separates, then you would have paid premium for the fixed 30,000, but you are actually has to pay gratuity on 35,800. So this will have a big impact. So you calculate last on basic 15 by 26, in the number of years. If there is a change in that definition wages, this will have a big impact. So if it is even if it is restricted to 51% of the gross wage, if a employee is getting overtime or sales commission or that particular month any other component, he is getting something, then it will be a big difficulty for the employer. Sir, you can explain.
हाँ ऋषभ बोलूं मैं? ऋषभ?
श्योर सर, प्लीज गो अहेड।
हाँ, जैसा कि अभी आनंदन सर ने बहुत अच्छी तरह हमें समझाया है कि ये स्लाइड दिखा के कि यदि किसी का 21,000 ये हेड्स में दिखा के उन्होंने ये हमें बताया कि एक्सक्लूशन पार्ट जो है यदि 50% से जो वेजेस का ऊपर से होता है तो जितना ऊपर हुआ है वो आपको वेजेस में इंक्लूड करना पड़ेगा। तो उन्होंने 3-4 सिनेरियोस हमारे लिए डेवलप करके उन्होंने दिखाया है जहां पे किसी का हम बेसिक डीए 21,000 दे रहे हैं या 25,400 दे रहे हैं या 50,000 दे रहे हैं और एक्सक्लूशन में हम अभी तो इन्होंने 3-4 हेड दिखाया, आपका कंपनी में जैसा भी देते होंगे वो आप वही हेड को लेके हुए चलिए और उसमें आप लोग यही वैल्यूज रख के करते हैं। तो क्या है आपको ये देखना है कि जो एक्सक्लूशन पार्ट है वो 50% से ऊपर नहीं होना चाहिए। जहां ऊपर हो गया वो फिर आपको वेजेस में इंक्लूड करके आपको वो ग्रेचुटी के लिए, बोनस के लिए और पीएफ के लिए आपको इंपैक्ट होगा और उनके उन चीजों पे आपको हमें एक्स्ट्रा एम्प्लॉय कॉस्ट बनेगी और हमें पे करना पड़ेगा। ऋषभ, आई एम क्लियर?
यस सर, आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड वन पॉइंट। तो दोस्तों सुनिए, इसमें दिस इज अ चिकन एंड एग प्रॉब्लम। चिकन एंड एग प्रॉब्लम मैं इसलिए बोल रहा हूं कि पहले अंडा आया कि पहले मुर्गी आई, ये कोई नहीं जानता है। इसमें आपको क्या प्रॉब्लम होगी, जैसा सर ने लास्ट वाला एग्जांपल, 4th एग्जांपल में आपको बताया है कि इसमें उन्होंने ऐड किया है 35,000 रुपए, जो बेसिकली 5,800 रुपए कुछ एक्स्ट्रा है वो वेजेस में ऐड किया है। अब उसके ऊपर वापस से पीएफ का कैलकुलेशन होगा। जब पीएफ का कैलकुलेशन अब 35,000 पे होगा तो जो अभी पीएफ में वैल्यू दिख रही है वो वैल्यू वहां पे वो नहीं रहेगी, अब वो वैल्यू डिफरेंट हो जाएगी। तो नीचे वाली कैलकुलेशन फिर से डिफरेंट होगी, तो फिर से कुछ एक्स्ट्रा अमाउंट आएगा, फिर से वो ऊपर अमाउंट ऐड होना पड़ेगा और फिर ये साइकिल चलती रहेगी। तो दिस इज वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड। इतना जितना आपको, और स्पेशली आप इसमें देखो, देयर आर थिंग्स, मैं जानता हूं जो काफी सारी कंपनीज है जो सेल्स या इस तरह के बिजनेसेस में, उसमें कमीशन सैलरी से कई गुना हो जाता है। आप इवन इसमें जाओगे, रिटेल में जाओगे, साड़ी वगैरह की दुकानों पे जाओगे तो लोगों की सैलरी 8,000 है, कमीशन 40,000 होता है, सेल्स कमीशन। तो ये सब चीजें बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाएगी। नंबर सेकंड, ये जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो सर ने कैलकुलेशन बताई है, आई हैव अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ दिस थिंग। मतलब ये जो सर ने कैलकुलेशन बताई, मेरी कैलकुलेशन इससे काफी डिफरेंट रहेगी, बट उसके बारे में मैं टुवर्ड्स द एंड ऑफ वेबिनार बात करूंगा, क्योंकि ये दो तरह की थ्योरी चल रही है। वन इज दिस जो आनंदन सर ने बताई है, एक कंप्लीटली थ्योरी है जो मेरी थ्योरी है और बहुत सारे और लोग उस थ्योरी पे बिलीव करते हैं। तो उसके बारे में हम लोग जब कोड एंड वेजेस का पीडीएफ देख के मैं एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश करूंगा टुवर्ड्स एंड ऑफ द वेबिनार। और आपके बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस भी आए हुए हैं, वो सारे क्वेश्चन भी हम लोग अभी कुछ ही देर में वेबिनार के एंड की तरफ लेने की कोशिश करेंगे। सर, हाउ मेनी स्लाइड्स आर रिमेनिंग टेंटेटिवली?
I have some
3-4.
More than that also. Okay,
No problem.
I'll
Continue.
explain what Rishabh has told. What a company's payroll tool will do is there's something is called gross up. They will do a gross up. So like when I add this 5,800 PF employer contribution increase, and again some another money will include. So something like that. So for that they will do a gross up. That they will do. And one more thing, because I wanted to explain here and then move to the next slide. This is more important. This definition has an impact on ESI. ESI coverage, as of now, it is on the gross wages. Year after, it is on the wages. What is the difference? So, for example, right now I am getting 22,000. So I am out of ESI. So what I get is basic DA HRA. So for 10,000 something, my gross is 22. I am out of ESI. Year after, maybe once the Social Security Code and ESI scheme or ESI regulation, that is going to be different. For ESI and PF, they have given 1 year time to come out with a separate regulation or scheme under the Code on Social Security. So when it comes, so now I am out of ESI. When HRA is taken out of HR, I become 18,000. So far I was not covered under ESI. Year after I will be covered under ESI. This is the major impact for the employer. Okay, this is also a big impact to the employer because of the definition of the wages. Okay, so I'll move. Other slides are very not relatively important. So now we have seen HRA was excluded, and the cost to the company is going to increase. Sometime it may remain same. We have seen. This is what we have discussed. Some establishment include many benefits, perquisites. So because of this, definition of wages is going to change. So organization have to deal with varying definition of wages. So for gratuity something, bonus, PF, and we have seen ESI
Sir,
also.
just want to
They have
add something. Just 1 minute. Couple of members are complaining that PPT is not visible properly. Actually, I can see it's visible properly on YouTube. What you need to do is, जो भी लोगों को पीपीटी अच्छे से नहीं दिख रही है, वो नीचे सेटिंग्स पे क्लिक करके जो क्वालिटी है वीडियो की, उस क्वालिटी ऑफ वीडियो को हाई करिए, तब आपको या 1080 या 720p करिए, तब आपको पीपीटी क्लियरली दिखेगी, क्योंकि मैं मेरे यूट्यूब पे देख पा रहा हूँ, एकदम क्लियर पीपीटी दिख रही है. सर, कंटिन्यू प्लीज.
Okay, the mode of the wage, this is already there. You have to pay through digital mode or check, no cash payment, or electronic mode. Daily, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, not more than a month. That is the period. Time limit, daily means you have to pay end of the day. Weekly means last working day, whether it is Friday or Saturday. Fortnightly means second working day after end of that second week. So fortnightly means 2 weeks. Monthly means there is a change. Earlier, there are two. The earlier means currently, employers who are engaging more than 1,000 employees, they can pay wages up to 10th. Hereafter, it is not going to be there. So everyone has to be paid on 7th or before 7th after expiry of the wage month.
Of the following one.
For December, you have to pay on or before January 7th. And 10th is not there once it is notified. I have given the definition of the skill. Maybe you can read out what exactly. Earlier, this was not given, but in the code, very clearly they have given R for employment type, unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled, and highly skilled. So what is mentioned in the highly skilled? So all managers will definitely come under the highly skilled, and they will be considered as employees. So there cannot be any exclusion. Government is very much determined not to change the definition. This slide talks about now if any undispersed amount, wages, bonus, not gratuity, and any other overtime are not paid, now the employer can pay within 3 years to the employee or to the nominee. Hereafter, it has to be settled immediately. within 3 months. Expiry of 3 months. So that is what is mentioned. If it is a nominee, if the person employee is expired, unfortunate demise of the employee, then it is 6 months. So that is changed. It has to be paid to the, if you can identify the nominee or the employee, you can pay to them. If you could not able to identify the employee within 3 months, or you could not able to settle to the nominee within 6 months for some practical reason, you have to deposit that money to the labor department. They will give that money. So your accountability goes up. Earlier it was 3 years. Now it has been changed. And the timely payment of wages, responsibility of payment of minimum bonus. These two for contract employees now lies on the principal employer. If the contractor is not paying wages to contract labor, now the time is 7th. If it is not paid on 7th, even the principal employer is liable. Whether the contractor is paid or not, he has to pay. Second one, minimum bonus, whether the contractor is paying or not, if it is not paid, principal employer has to pay. So these are all the things impacting the employer. So the statutory requirement is now simplified, or for different legislations. Now we have only very simple register, wage slip, employee register, register of wages, things like that. Otherwise, it is very simple, digitized. And this provision talks about if 10 or more employees take casual leave, it can be treated as strike, and you can deduct 8 days of wages from that, all those employees. So this is a new definition. It was there in different act, but it is included in this act. So mass casual leave is prohibited or restricted. So here what is new? Non-payment of bonus. If an employee is convicted under the POSH Act, sexual harassment, payment of bonus is not mandated, not required. And this is the another secondary impact. If any employee separated, whether resigned, you remove, terminate, or retrench, or except unfortunate demise of an employee, that is death, you have to settle, that is full and final settlement within 2 working days. Now it is, many companies are taking more than 30 days. They say that we will run the next payroll and we will do the full and final settlement. Even for resignation, for example, I give a notice on 17th, I'll relieve on 16th next month. I have to be paid on full and final settlement on 18th. You cannot tell that I have not run the payroll. I cannot pay. It is legally mandatory to settle for F&F. Okay, this is a major impact for employer. So that's what the major impact. Compensation structure, you have to structure in some way so that the basic part, the first bucket, should be more than the gross. Then there will not be a problem. Service condition, we have seen working hours, overtime. Those things you have to take care. This is a big impact on employer. Settlement deduction, just now we have seen within 2 days deduction. Just like that, you cannot deduct. Vendor relation, we have seen contract labor. If the contractor is not paying, it is the liability on principal employer. Impact in the finance of the company, all put together. If there is any change in the wage definition, and there is an impact on the finance of the company, that is the 5 big factors which impact the employer. Now it is the time for queries, or maybe Mr. Rishabh or Mr. Chalamani, if you wanted to
ऋषभ
explain.
ऋषभ मैं
Yes,
एक मिनट में बोलना चाहता हूँ ये कोड एंड वेजेस का जो इम्पैक्ट है अभी इसकी आने से
Sure, sir.
जैसे हमने अभी पहले भी बताया है 2-3 चीजों का बहुत अच्छा क्लैरिटी मिल गया है। एक है एम्प्लॉय का क्या मीनिंग है, वर्कर का क्या मीनिंग है और वेजेस आपको कैसे देने। पहले हम अपनी मर्जी से देते थे, अब वो सब नहीं चलेगा, हम भी देंगे और हमारा जो नीचे जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एम्प्लॉइज है उनको भी हमें देखना पड़ेगा, वो कॉन्ट्रैक्टर वैसे ही देगा, ठीक है।
Right.
और दूसरा अब जैसा हमारा पेरोल प्रोसेसिंग में जैसा आपका शिफ्ट होता रहेगा बेसिक का बाय वर्च्यू ऑफ अदर कंपोनेंट्स गोइंग अप इन बकेट नंबर 2 उसका इम्पैक्ट होगा। और फाइनेंशियली फॉर ऑल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सभी कंपनियों का पीएफ पे ग्रेच्युटी पे इन चीजों पे असर पड़ेगी और सब कॉन्ट्रैक्टरों का कंप्लेंट्स भी वो भी अल्टीमेटली हमसे मांगेगा प्रिंसिपल एम्प्लॉयर से, उसका भी कास्ट बढ़ेगा।
राइट सर। तो सबसे पहले तो देखो जो भी वेबिनार ये सुन रहे हैं, मैं एक सेकंड ये वाली पीपीटी में हाइड कर देता हूँ, जस्ट अ मिनट। राइट, तो जो भी लोग वेबिनार सुन रहे हैं आपको लगा होगा काफी चीजें कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, डरने की बात नहीं। सबसे पहले तो सीखना होगा, नंबर 1। नंबर 2, जो भी ये वेबिनार देख रहे हैं, आई बिलीव ज्यादातर लोग एचआर, लेबर लॉज या पेरोल फ्रेटर्निटी से, अगर आपको चीजें आती है, आपको पेरोल अच्छे से चलाना आता है, आपको एचआर के अपने सारे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन का ज्ञान है, तो दिस इज गोइंग टू बी रियली हेल्पफुल फॉर यू। कंपनीज के लिए बहुत डिफिकल्ट है ये चीज, ये टाइम बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, बट एज अ एचआर फ्रेटर्निटी दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ गेम चेंजर फॉर यू। क्योंकि अगर आपको प्रॉपर नॉलेज है तो यू विल गेट मोर जॉब्स, मोर क्लाइंट, मोर कंसल्टिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स, बहुत सारी चीजें आपको मिल सकती है। सो अपने लर्निंग पे फोकस करिए। अब बिफोर गोइंग टूवर्ड्स द Q&A, जो बहुत सारे आए क्वेश्चन, आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर समथिंग which is my understanding. मैं एक मिनट सर, ये just let allow me 1 second. Okay, here.
खुल रहा है।
Is it clear, right?
या
तो सर जो वेज की डेफिनेशन है, नाउ आई वुड हैव अ डिफरेंट अंडरस्टैंडिंग। तो आप यहाँ पे वेज की डेफिनेशन देखिए, वेजेस मींस ऑल रेम्यूनरेशन। अब मैं बस यहां तक ही इसको बताता हूँ, वेजेस मींस ऑल रेम्यूनरेशन, आगे कुछ कुछ लिखा है, वेदर बाय सैलरीज वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह। तो यहाँ पे वर्ड एक जगह है रेम्यूनरेशन। अब हम नीचे आते हैं लास्ट पैराग्राफ में, यहां पे इन्होंने लिखा है प्रोवाइडेड दैट फॉर कैलकुलेटिंग द वेजेस अंडर दिस क्लॉज, इफ पेमेंट मेड बाय एम्प्लॉयर टू द एम्प्लॉय अंडर क्लॉज A to I, यहां तक A to I exceeds one half, और जो भी अभी लेट्स अज्यूम इट्स 1/2, हो सकता है 25% हो, 40% हो, कुछ भी हो, लेट्स अज्यूम 50% राइट नाउ, एज मे बी नोटिफाइड बाय, ठीक है, ऑफ द ऑल रेम्यूनरेशन कैलकुलेटेड अंडर दिस क्लॉज, द अमाउंट एक्सीड्स सच 1/2 और द परसेंटेज सो नोटिफाइड shall be deemed as remuneration। तो देखिए, एक रेम्यूनरेशन यहां पे आया है, एक रेम्यूनरेशन यहां पे आया है, और एक बार रेम्यूनरेशन वर्ड यहां पे टॉप पे आया है, remuneration. Wages means all remuneration. So that means it's my understanding, and lot of people have this understanding, that ये जो अपन कैलकुलेशन कर रहे हैं, लेट्स अज्यूम किसी की सैलरी है 100 रुपीज, ओवरऑल सारी अलाउंसेस, बेसिक, डीए, हाउस, एचआरए, कन्वेंस सब मिला के 100 है। तो एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये है कि 100 में से 50 रुपीज मिनिमम बेसिक, डीए और रिटेनिंग अलाउंस में जाना चाहिए। What is my understanding is it's not 50% of overall, but it is 50% of wages or the word remuneration. That means अगर आपकी 100 रुपए सैलरी है ओवरऑल, सब मिला के, सारे कंपोनेंट्स मिला के, उसमें से 67 रुपीज शुड बी अंडर बेसिक, मिनिमम 67 रुपीज शुड बी अंडर बेसिक, डीए, रिटेनिंग अलाउंस, एंड उसका 50% विच इज 33 रुपीज। तो अगर टू बी प्रिसाइज 66.66 रुपीज in basic DA retaining, and उसका 50% can be remuneration, मतलब other allowances, which is 33.33 रुपीज। क्योंकि यहाँ पे remuneration वर्ड 3 बार आ रहा है, और remuneration वर्ड यहाँ पे पहले यूज किया गया वेज के साथ। So अगर रेम्यूनरेशन को ही ये कंसिडर कर रहे हैं तो इन तीनों का 50% ये A to I हो सकता है. So you get my idea, Anandan sir.
Sir, okay, I'll tell you. You have to have two things only. One is wage. The other one is exclusion. Wage means remuneration which has basic TA and any other components which is paid. Okay, and another exclusion. So under wage, all remuneration. It is not that under remuneration wage is defined. So it is maybe the reverse side. Wage means all remuneration. It is not remuneration means wages which include basic and DA.
Okay.
Is it convincing?
No, I have some argument against that. So just read the last line. Just let me zoom out. The amount which exceeds such one half, the amount which is exceeding shall be deemed as remuneration. If it would have been exclusion included, then they should not have written shall be deemed as remuneration. This clearly states that they are considering remuneration and wage one and the same thing, and in the exclusion part they have never used word remuneration. So I have consulted with multiple legal experts on this point. So I know that fraternity is divided, but most of the labor law consultants, maybe due to keeping on safer side, we are using that 67% rule.
नहीं ऋषभ, आप क्या चाहते हैं? आप चाहते हैं कि आप कहते हैं कि बेसिक सपोज किसी का 100 रुपये सैलरी है, आप ये कह रहे हैं कि किसी का बेसिक जो है 67 रुपीज होना चाहिए और बाकी अलाउंसेस 33 रुपीज होना चाहिए.
अगर मान लो किसी की 100 रुपए सैलरी है, आपने उसको बेसिक 70 रुपए दे दिया, और 70 का 50% होता है 35 रुपए, तो बच्चे की मान लो 30 रुपए आप HRA में दे रहे हो, कंप्लीटली ओके. किसी की 100 रुपए ओवरऑल सैलरी है, आपने उसको 60 रुपए बेसिक दिया है, बचा हुआ 40 रुपए HRA में दिया है, 60 का 50% कितना होता है? 30 रुपए, 30 रुपीज. तो 30 रुपीज ही मैक्सिमम हो सकता है HRA, जबकि आप HRA 40 रुपीज दे रहे हो. So that violates this principle. So I have spent lot of time on this because it is written shall be deemed as remuneration. इसलिए मेरा ये perception है कि ये 67-33 वाला मैक्सिमम मतलब लॉजिक फिट करना पड़ सकता है यहाँ पे. So just on this ambiguous note, I'm not concluding anything, but this is my understanding which I wanted to share.
Okay, understood.
So just a perspective. So let me.
This is a new perspective I have just seen, but valid because they have used that word remuneration. Because here it is only wages, a definition of wages, but they have. That's what is the beauty of any legislation. There should always be an interpretation. Only the judiciary can come into
right, because lawyers need some work. Okay, so let me quickly take up a few questions. Okay, the first one is very.
One second. Before that, I would like to mention.
Yes, sir.
This came in 2019, and I am doing webinar on the same thing with the same definition, same understanding from 2019. Big Fours and a major, what I can say that these big companies have interpreted in the same way. But definitely, your perspective is very good, something different. Maybe I will come back to you to satisfy, convince what is the exact definition.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Just another perspective, because in labor law consultant fraternity, everyone is doing this 67-33 thing. Okay. So first question is very simple.
तो ऋषभ जो आप बोल रहे हैं तो उससे तो कंप्लेंट्स और बढ़ जाएगा.
बहुत ज्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स, वही तो, इसलिए स्पेशली फॉर हायर सैलरीज पीपल उसमें इनकम टैक्स, ग्रेचुइटी, पीएफ, हर चीज में बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ रहा है, बहुत ज्यादा.
हाँ. Okay.
Okay. So Adarsh is asking, is overtime payable if an employee works on rest day though he has not crossed 48 hours?
See, first of all, week starts on Sunday night. That is early morning of Monday. Now it has been changed. Many states say that you can work 24/7. In a day, you have to work for 8 hours. But in a week, you cannot work more than 48 hours. Okay, that is number one. Number two, my company gives 2 days of rest. For example, Saturday and Sunday. So for my company, 48 hours ends on Friday itself. So if I am going to work on Saturday, maybe you can consider only 3 more hours, maybe 5 into 8 to 40. I don't know. Maybe if they are going to work only 8 hours, you cannot say that if I work on a Saturday, it will not be treated as a overtime. This is where the employment condition comes. As per the appointment order offer letter, for me, a week is Monday to Friday. My rest day is Saturday, Sunday. So if I work on the rest day, you don't consider 48 hours. It is more than 48 hours. So either have to be given compensatory holiday or overtime. But anyway, overtime is not allowed 8 hours. But no company is following this, mainly shop and establishment. So for me, it is Monday to Friday. If I work on Saturday, it is overtime. You cannot consider
Perfect. Correct.
It is 48 hours.
Correct.
Understood. One more question is coming. This is regarding highly skilled employee. So, sir, highly skilled anyways will be taking home much more in terms of salary. Will we have to pay overtime to them as well?
Yes, as of now.
That's what we discussed when we were explaining this slide. As it is, everyone is working more than 8 hours in big MNCs, ITS company. There will be a big impact for all such employees and employers. Definitely, this is going to throw a big challenge to everyone. So, as mentioned, people will be working at the home also, then it will be considered as overtime.
Got it, sir. Next question is coming. Before that, there is a question which I can, I guess, answer. It's saying that is there any guideline procedure to notify government regarding absence deduction, etc.? So I guess we have to wait for the rules for the same. Next question is, can employee claim transport as right? If yes, what category of employee has right to claim so?
No, it is a service condition. So if the company is paying transport allowance or conveyance allowance to everyone or specific people, then yes. Otherwise, you cannot claim. Only basic and DA as per the minimum wages is compulsorily to be paid. Transport you cannot claim.
Got it, sir. Mr. Chandan is asking, let me share the question on screen also, just a minute. He's asking, implementation of primary implementation of wages, can we say that minimum wages or 50% of total wages, whichever is higher?
I couldn't get this question.
Even I am still confused. So Chandan, if you can share some detail, like I guess he wanted to ask if that 50% 50%, which we are considering the wage part, that has to be higher than minimum wages, or overall the gross wages has to be higher than minimum wages to
See,
follow the
minimum
minimum
wages
wages.
should be equal to your wages, that is basic plus DA. You cannot split that minimum wages and take it to exclusion. So you can pay HRA or conveyance allowance or anything else more than the minimum wage. You cannot split it and pay 50% of total wages. No, you cannot do that.
Got it, sir. Got it. So other than that, there are just compliments, not more questions. I guess everything is clear. One more question is coming. Ceiling of 15,000 in EPF. So if there is a, okay, more questions are coming now. So if there is a ceiling of 15,000 for EPF, will this rule of wage, like 50% is has to be added, will it be followed above 15,000 wages also?
No,
No,
no, that's
no.
what I told during that slide also. If your company is restricting PF contribution to 15,000, where 12% is 1,800, you may not have the problem of this definition of wages. So you
Got
can
it.
continue to restrict to 15,000, which is now current ceiling. Maybe we may expect 21 or 25,000 very soon, but you can restrict.
Got it,
But
sir.
if you are deducting on actual basic now, after this code, if you wanted to restrict, you have to get permission from the PF office. And
That is not possible.
No,
See,
PF commissioner is giving, but you cannot ask it for a specific person or 10 people. It should be for all employees.
Okay, sir. One question, I don't know whether you will be able to answer this or not. Someone is asking, can you share like what impact it will have on mining industry? If you have any insights on this.
It structure does not different from industry to industry. It is going to be same. Minimum wages also is going to be same. So
Okay.
it doesn't differentiate industry.
Got it, sir. One question, simple question on coming on gratuity. So gratuity should be on at least minimum wage or 50% of wages.
The gratuity is always on minimum wages because it is wage definition. So it is always minimum wages, the last on minimum wages, 15 by 26 into number of years served. If it is a fixed term, even 1 year, 2 year or 3 years also, you have to pay.
Got it, sir. That concludes, I guess, all the questions. And this time we are like perfectly on time. 7 o'clock started, 8:30, everything wrapped up. So first of all, big thank you to both of you for taking out time and giving a lot of insights into this code on wages, and especially giving a lot of examples as well, which clarifies for most of our HR fraternity lot of doubts. And this is our second webinar, and we hope that you also liked this overall experience, and we will continue to do more webinars in future. Any comments from
definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
take this
Thank you.
opportunity to
Thank you,
thank
Rishabh.
LLA and Mr. Rishabh also again. And today I have a learning of going to the different perspective of the definition of wages, which I will also learn. Anyway, it is going to add my knowledge also. Anyway,
Right.
thanks LLA and the entire team.
Right. And Anandan sir prepares a lot of good newsletters, which usually come on my WhatsApp. First thing I do, I read them I guess weekly it comes. So if Anandan sir will share, I'll share the link of the newsletter subscription on the WhatsApp group. And whosoever of you want to learn more about compliances and get regular updates, they can subscribe to this newsletter, which is very, very insightful.
What I do is every day some statutory updates whenever it comes. That I do, and wash updates. Apart from that, a weekly newsletter. What I do is I share it through a WhatsApp group. So if somebody wants, they can share their mobile number one, or otherwise they can follow me in the LinkedIn. I post it.
Okay.
Both the ways you can.
Sir, if possible, can you? I'll just try and search on your LinkedIn. I'll just share it right away. I guess I got it. Okay, so I'm sharing Anandan sir's LinkedIn profile here. So in the comment section, you can subscribe to him. I've shared, sir, in the comment section.
Okay.
Everyone is saying thank you. Team, if you have any feedback on this session, or if you want to compliment, you can share in comments or even in the WhatsApp group. I'll share with Anandan sir and Chalamani sir. And sir, thank you again for
Thank you.
joining. Thank you so much.
Thank you Anandan sir. Thank you Rishabh.
तो दोस्तों, उम्मीद करता हूँ मजा आया होगा। मुझे तो काफी मजा आया, काफी सारी नई चीजें सीखने को मिली। इसी तरीके से अब ये मंथ में अपन शायद 2 और वेबिनार करेंगे। एक 24 का है, वो हो सकता है 30th के लिए शेड्यूल हुआ है, और एक 28 को और वेबिनार है। और उसके बाद अपन नेक्स्ट मंथ में वी विल हैव मोर वेबिनार्स ऑन इनकम टैक्स एंड रिलेटेड सब्जेक्ट्स। तो आप जुड़े रहिए। और ये वेबिनार में टाइमिंग भी ऐसे रख रहा हूँ, आज का भी हमने थोड़ा 7 बजे 7:30 बजे रखा था कि काफी लोग जुड़ सके, क्योंकि काफी स्टेट्स में भी लॉकडाउन चल रहा है और लोग अपने 8 बजे तक घर पहुंचना होता है, 7 बजे तक घर पहुंचना होता है, तो सापाधापी में मिस हो जाता है। तो इसीलिए आई एम कीपिंग इट थोड़ा लेट, 7 बजे 7:30 बजे। उसमें भी आपकी कोई फीडबैक हो तो आप मेरे साथ जरूर शेयर करिएगा। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। नेक्स्ट वेबिनार की अपडेट मैं आपको ग्रुप में शेयर करता हूं। और आज के वेबिनार के कोई भी फीडबैक हो, कमेंट्स हो, सर को आपको कुछ कॉम्प्लीमेंट देने हो, आप मेरे साथ जरूर या तो चैट में या बेटर है व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में शेयर करिए। मैं सर के साथ वो मैसेजेस भी शेयर कर दूंगा। तो थैंक यू सो मच। मिलते हैं अगले वेबिनार में। अपना ध्यान रखिए, परिवार का ध्यान रखिए। बाय बाय, जय हिंद।